In the last 20 years, household debt has increased sixfold, which is quite an achievement. In very simple terms, we spend way more than we earn.
Yeah, we're the ones with the debt problem, and yet we're the ones who are supposed to teach our kids about how to deal with money.
Well, one expert clearly thinks parents aren't doing a very good job and says it's time for schools to step in. Jill Higgins sums up the options.
Meet Alex.
Real joker, you know, likes having fun.
And Sean.
Sincere and very sensitive.
It's not uncommon for brothers to have different traits, even when it comes to money.
Alex is a real saver. Sean is a shopper.
Everybody has a different money personality, and that's important in learning how to manage your own financial situation.
That's why this expert wants the art of spending money, or rather saving it, as a compulsory subject at school.
How to set up a budget, how to reconcile bank statements.
So is this taught in schools now?
In primary and intermediate schools, they do teach a certain financial awareness, but unfortunately, these are not mandatory curriculum.
Yet we all buy houses, get the groceries and pay the bills.
And we never had any lessons at school. You'd think the professor was saying we'd cock things up a little.
Make that a lot.
The Western economies are very much driven by this type of consumption. And that's what's largely gotten us into some of the problems we currently find ourselves in, is this idea of we have to consume for the moment.
For every dollar we earn, we spend about $1.10. And the next generation are really getting the hang of this.
Take uni students, 300 interviewed on how quickly their cash, or their parents' cash, can disappear.
And spending much more money than they actually have. You know, but their friends are doing it. They don't want to be seen to be, you know, the cheap one out.
It's almost as if we're telling our kids, forget the bills, let's get shopping.
We all have our weaknesses. Mine happens to be going out for coffee.
Home furnishings.
Usually clothes shops.
Because when you see a hat with a polka dot ribbon, you think, I need that.
Well, not personally, but I look at these hats, I look at the hush puppies across the way. In actual fact, I really could use something like this. And that's what's largely gotten us into some of the problems we currently find ourselves in.
So how do you teach that to kids that are living for the day?
What I tell them about is the Frappuccino. $5 a day for Frappuccinos adds up.
Then there's the pocket money debate.
Where I think we fall down as parents is if we just continually replenish the pot. We give them $5 to start the week, and 2 days later they show up and their money's gone. Oh, here's another $5.
I hope you finished your lunch today, did you?
Sean and Alex don't get pocket money, but that has its drawbacks.
It was constantly, oh, can we get a Subway? Can we go to the movies? Can we do that? And I just thought, this is just getting ridiculous.
Nikki had an idea, a lump sum each at the start of the holiday.
I said, look, if you spend it all in a week, you're going to have a boring holiday. Manage it.
Personally, I thought it was really good because I knew I wouldn't spend any of it at all.
They tried it on when they asked for something. Oh, do you pay for this or do we?
I was thinking to try, like, save as much as possible, but in the end, it kind of just disappeared slightly. He didn't spend a penny.
I probably spent about $10, like, overall.
Alex had heaps left. Sean? None.
They learned what it costs.
And what was the result for you?
Fantastic. You know, my wallet, every time I looked in it, there was a $20 note.
So is it more painful when it's your money or when it's your mum's money?
My own money. Sit.
But he's learned if he wants that designer gear, he's got to have the money to pay for it himself.
We tried to get a job at Pack and Save. You had to be 15, so this is coming up this year.
The lesson is live within your means or we'll follow other countries into disastrous debt.
We've got this buildup of excess consumption, buying extra plasma TVs that they can't afford, buying cars that they can't afford, which is why we find ourselves, you know, collectively in the mess that we are today.
With us in the studio, renowned self-starter and creator of fashion label Working Style, Chris Dobbs. Thanks for joining us, Chris. We tend to assume that entrepreneurs such as yourself have always been good with money since they were kids. True of you?
Good at trying to make money, not particularly good at handling money. These days I sort of try and surround myself with people who are good with money, and I've got the benefit of being able to do that. Yeah.
Was it starting up your own business that changed things for you then?
Eventually, I suppose. As a young guy, I was actually pretty hopeless with money, but the responsibility of running your own show and people depending on you and having to pay wages, and more importantly, the repercussions if you can't, meant you have to get your act together pretty quickly.
That's quite an adult concept. How do you take that and make it work for kids, do you think?
Well, with our children, which is obviously what I was wanting to talk. I mean, firstly, I've got fantastic parents, so I think it does start at home with your parents, and my parents have always been good with money and thrifty, and all you really want as a parent is to instill that value in your children, because you want them to, you know, have a happy life. So I do think it starts at home, and I think you've got to be consistent. You know, we're very much a family that tries to say it, mean it, do it, and, you know, stick to the party line between my wife and I.
Do you give your kids pocket money?
Not religiously. We have the concept, but there's not a standard, you know, amount that we adhere to. I mean, friends talk about, you know, half the age of your kid, and that's what they get weekly, sort of thing, which sounds good to me. We're more if they have to buy something that comes out of their personal stash, in terms of if they've gifted money from grandparents or they've got some money and it's a major thing we're going to buy, like a Nintendo or something my son got recently. Well, he had to pay half of it. So I don't think we're too austere with it, but we certainly try and make them realise that, you know, it doesn't come out of thin air.
Would you rather that schools be more proactive in taking some of the burden off you as a parent?
Sure, yeah. I mean, anything that can be done at school is a good idea. When I was at school, they had a subject called business studies, which I wasn't particularly scholastic, but I remember really enjoying business studies. So I think there's a place in the curriculum for what we're talking about. But again,
should it be compulsory, though, for every child?
No, I don't think so, no.
One thing that kids are very good at is the guilt thing. Everyone in my group of mates has a insert latest gadget here. Why can't I have one?
It's not just the kids, though, is it? We're all suckers for it. We all want what we really can't afford or can't have, and we're all as vulnerable as a child, really, in many ways, because we all get, you know, suckered into this concept that the Joneses have got it, so should I.
You're the parent, so what do you say when one of your children comes at you with that?
I think waiting is a good concept. It's not immediate, you know, not that sort of self-indulgence of I want it, you know, putting it into some sort of structural queue around a key event, birthday or Christmas or whatever it might be, so you're not continually indulging a child. I mean, I might say I'm not the primary caregiver. My wife makes all these hard decisions and deals with most of the fallout from it, but you do have to have consistency is a good word, I think, with kids generally. Yeah.
All right, Chris Dobbs, thanks for your expertise.
A pleasure.
Cheers, and thanks for your expertise online. We've got heaps of feedback on this story. By the way, Dovan on Twitter reckons that kids get all the financial education they need watching their teachers at school crying over the problems with NovaPay. And I like this one too from Matthew Robinson, who reckons if you want to teach kids about capitalism, combine lolly scrambles with bull rush.
Look, I was just thinking, listening to Chris and watching Jill's piece, part of it, and interested to hear what Chris would say on this, is part of it the tactile thing. People don't handle money as such anymore. You have EFTPOS, you have gift cards, you charge your phone. You're never actually touching cash, therefore the value of it is probably instilled.
Mine are quite good at getting their hands on some cash. There's a little bit floating around. But I think from an early age, there's nothing wrong with kids having an EFTPOS card. You know, it's a reasonably low easy exercise to pull off, but then once it's gone, it's gone. You know, they can't have any more.
Yeah, no funds left, probably an easy one. We've got one here from Elizabeth Marama. Mine get $8 a week, but half of that goes into savings. They have to do chores, but they can pay me to do them, and I charge $10 an hour.
Yeah, that's good. And this might appeal to you as a businessman, Chris, as well. Margaret Clark says that our son's paid for cleaning up after the family dog, but at the end of the month, he's got to submit an invoice to his dad. She reckons it's great for maths, and he learns a bit about business as well.
Sounds good to me, yeah.
Something to think about.
Yeah, for sure.
Keep it coming, 7sharp.co.nz. Hey, after the break.